Hey everyone, just a reminder that I'll be hosting a screening of Cyclops and Miracle Bunny 2 at the Guild Cinema in Albuquerque, New Mexico on August 9th. Check out the links in the episode description and follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky for ticketing and other information on this event. Enjoy the episode. A year and a half ago because the lady wanted to watch it. That movie is exactly like every Lifetime movie that I watch all the time. It is a fucking Lifetime movie that won Best Picture or Best Actress or whatever the fuck it was.
Hey, diversity is important. Lifetime ladies need representation too, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they get one every 100 years.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully Sinners wins this year and it'll balance out.
Came out too early.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Avatar 3.
Well, that's going to come. That's like 6 years from now, I think.
I thought we're getting third one this year.
Murph, let us know in the Discord when Avatar 3 comes out.
He has one big clock on his wall that's counting down to the release date.
I don't think you can put enough characters in a single Discord message for him to get his point across.
Well, no, he pays for Nitro. I think that's what it's for going on your unhinged Avatar rants.
Does Nitro allow you to connect to your computer with your hair braid and just upload the thought in real time?
I was going to say, you think he has the tail?
I've never seen the back of Murph's head.
Yeah, he's probably pissed off that you guys are calling it the tail and not the flizzle or whatever it is in the movie.
I started to, and I was like, nope, not doing this.
I've never seen either of them.
I mean, I saw one in theaters, but that was it.
You guys are missing out.
You watched two?
Yeah.
At the theater?
Yeah, of course I did.
With the glasses?
No.
With Murph?
Yeah.
You guys
all 3 times?
I was holding his tail so it wasn't touching the back of the seat. You know where that guy lives. It's dirty up there.
Mm-hmm. He's so mad right now.
Guy's eating some ground beef in a paper bag in the theater, holding tails. Well, I guess on that note, we should probably start talking about this bag of ground beef. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dead Formats, a movie podcast about dead formats, movies, the types of movies that aren't made anymore these days. I'm your host, Chris, and this episode we're going to be discussing TOYD from 2002. Today I'm joined by 3 very special guests who can't tell if it's soft or hard. Bones, Dan, Kron, how are you doing this evening?
Trick question. Always hard.
Yeah. Semi.
Summer Dick's on the way, buddy.
Oh, yes. We're getting so ready for Summer Dick season.
Hey,
you guys
Chris,
been doing your stretches?
What the fuck is this movie? Where did you find it? How does one Google TOYD 2002? Because
this is an excellent. I mean, this movie does not show up on Letterboxd. It does not register on Plex. Like, how do you know of the existence of the film?
Yeah. TOYD. Well, I'll tell you guys about that, but first you should tell the listener about your show, 5 Day Rentals. Anyone that's listened to this show should know them from Hot Dog Video Volume 11, Check Your Level on Love and Sex. The less said about that episode, the better. Don't need to start a fight right at the beginning, but just tell them about your show, guys.
5 Day Rentals, it's a category-based movie show. Don't come for insightful movie reviews. You can find that elsewhere. Available wherever you get your podcasts. It is myself, Kron Howard, Laundry Dan, and I don't know. I think you and DK are battling it out for that 4th and 5th position. Just you're ready. You're ready to go whenever. I'm not sure if this is coming out around Little Bad Guys.
I mean, TOYD is Little Bad Guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Bones and I being superior experts on Little Bad Guys. Mm-hmm. This one, Maybe not as good as the Little Bad Guys that we know about, but it's a Little Bad Guy.
This one is just the slowest moving. I feel like the tech hadn't quite caught up on TOYD yet. Just imagine TOYD with a hooked up to an iPhone, dude.
The trade-off, though, is a mechanism of death.
Built right into it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. The Thing isn't very fast, but fucker is impossible to kill.
Imagine how prolific Chucky could have been if he just had a built-in electrocution device.
The Thing, it's fairly quick when it turns into that like spider head and crawls away.
Different thing, bro.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Well, the Thing in that movie is unkillable.
When the Thing's a dog, it moves pretty quick. I should have known better. You're going to default to Carpenter over Marvel. You're so much cooler than I am. Yes.
No, to beat that, Ben Grimm never once entered my mind when you said The Thing.
I really thought I missed a part of the movie and was like, wait, what?
No. But let's close that tab. One Night Under the Big Top, little bad guys, Kron's loophole. We can't do puppets, but goddamn it, we'll get his fix however he can. All episodes available now, all featuring very host of this show.
Yeah, so I thought, why not get them on to talk about another little bad guy? And our dead format this week is a satellite television original movie, sort of a killer doll puppet robot movie. I mean, I don't even have to ask you guys if you were fans of these types of films. You just did a whole category on your show about them.
Mm. I mean, I love little bad guys, man. I mean, they're just always fun. You got a little guy causing mischief, making trouble for everybody. How can we have a lot of contention around them on our show, but
no, I don't think so.
How do you not like them?
We love them. It's our best categories that we do on the show. And Bones and I are experts in that field, that subgenre. So yeah, I mean, if you got any questions, just let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm humbled that I could bring a little bad guy to the fore that no one's ever heard of.
Did you say this was a satellite exclusive?
So to get it out of the way, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because at the time of this record, Megan 2.0 is about to come to theaters. And this is a podcast that is never going to be covering new releases, pretty much exclusively talk about very obscure films. So any time that I can find a way to piggyback onto something that people are actually interested, carpe diem, But the second reason I wanted to talk about this is because of something you guys were referring to earlier, which is basically just because I know no one else will be talking about it. Again, great concept for a podcast to exclusively talk about shit no one's seen. I don't think I've actually talked about this too much on this podcast, surprisingly, but one of the things I like to do is archive weird stuff. And so if I stumble on something that's not online and not available to stream, I digitize it. And this is just one of those things that I stumbled on. I hadn't heard of it. And when I saw it for sale, I tried looking it up and saw that, like Kron said, it's not on IMDB or Letterboxd. And I knew I had to get it. I will add it so you guys can log it and at least get something out of this experience. You can say I'm one of the 4 people that's seen TOYD. But so I got a VHS of this, and this was probably like 2 years ago now. And then a couple months ago, I saw a DVD for it pop up, which I didn't know existed because how would I have known that? Google doesn't come up with anything for this movie. So I got the DVD, and in these situations, I just always assume that I'm going to have to create English subtitles, which I was dreading because it's an extremely time-consuming thing to do. But much to my surprise, the DVD has English subtitles already on it, which is really fucking weird because it was never sold anywhere outside of Japan. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot of information about this because of that. There was like a making of featurette on the DVD, but it is literally a featurette about the making of the physical doll. It's like, first you mold it out of clay, and then you do a plaster cast, and then you cast it out of silicone, like literal making of. Not very insightful about the background of this movie. And then there was another feature that was like called Cast Interview. It was just short clips of the movie where different members of the cast would do like a picture-in-picture thing where they were saying like obviously scripted things about the movie, about like, this is a great horror thriller. Everyone should go watch it when it comes out. So only information I was able to find about it, I randomly found like a press release PDF about this from when it was coming out. And it was produced by and aired on Wow Wow, which is a satellite television channel in Japan. It aired on March 24th, 2002, and it won the 39th Galaxy Award, which is a Japanese award for like television, radio, and commercials. That's about it. Directed by Junichi Mori, written by Masahito Kagawa, stars Takashi Naito and Junko Sakurai. All the background info I have on this.
Has that director done anything like of note, or the actor even?
So, it seems like they all kind of do like indie films, except for the main guy, Takashi Naito, who's the detective. He has done like some things that people in America might have heard of. He's done like some voice acting for Studio Ghibli stuff, but really like I couldn't find anything about either of the two kids that are in this movie. Like, it doesn't seem like they really have acting careers. The woman that plays the psychologist, she's like been in things, but not really anything that I think her like most popular movie had like 11,000 logs on Letterboxd. So like, you know, people have seen it, but it's not anything that's really broken through into the mainstream over here.
Well, and you said psychologist, but you mean hot aunt, right?
Well, it's kind of like a maid mom situation.
They can be both, yeah.
Yeah. You can be both of them.
I will tell you, this is one of the first times that I thought, oh, this is what ChatGPT should be used for. So I was just typing in like TOYD 2002. Then I opened up the movie and I typed in like one of the actors starring this person, blah, blah, blah. And it kept kicking me to a movie from the same year, I think called Dolls.
Hell
which
yeah.
is the Stuart Gordon movie?
No, it was like a movie full of vignettes. I should have been better prepared and taken a screenshot of it. But I just kept looping around. I would say, no, it starts this thing. And then it would, I don't know, give me something else. And I would say, it's got a killer white doll in it. It's got this. And then it would come back around and say,
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's called The Doll, and I think that's a Korean movie. Have it on my Plex.
okay. This
yeah,
I thought was...
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's... I'll try to hold this up. It's from Takashi Kitano called Dolls. I don't know if my image is backwards.
Haven't heard of that one.
Okay.
He's a famous director, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is weird, like, given that this was, like, not that long ago and won awards, like, it's weird that this has become completely, like, memory hold.
When you release an episode of Dead Formats and it's something that's, well, a dead format, do you get people that are like, yo, I need to see that?
No.
God damn it, people.
I think the only thing that someone's been like, I would be interested in seeing that was, I think Murph said he had some interest in Phantasm Revision. I'm trying to think of the stuff that would have been released at this point. I mean,
there's the one with DK and Chris, the like Star Wars ripoff
Cyber Ninja.
Yeah. That's fucking good. I mean, yeah, so Cyber Ninja, Gakidama, Biotherapy, Trial of the Incredible Hulk, although no one would need my help in seeking that out. Those are just good movies. But yeah, no one has been beating down my door and saying like, we have to see Colony Mutation because it's a pretty terrible movie. I'm surprised that a couple people want to watch Hot Dog. So
How could you not?
yeah, you take victories where you can get them.
I mean, do you think part of this not being known or available, like, could it be tied up in some ownership thing where it's like, does that satellite company even exist anymore?
It does.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's like a big deal over there, I guess.
I just feel like over here, all that's kind of like dying out anyway in favor of streaming. So
yeah. I think it just kind of falls into this weird area because you think about like boutique labels like Vinegar Syndrome or what have you. There's nothing that like this movie doesn't really have a hook that someone would be able to market it. Like it's just, I don't know how to explain it, like churned out for lack of a better word. Although I feel like the people making it did care. It's just sort of unremarkable in a lot of ways.
I think the TOYD, that's itching for, an awesome ass slipcover art. It's such a distinct look.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that was thrown on like, in a Vinegar Syndrome newsletter, I think people would be like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah, well, their marketing team would just do what they always do and call it a forgotten classic, and a bunch of neckbeards would pay $80 for a Blu-ray.
It's 5 stars.
Oh, God.
Every time you see like the little video of TOYD, it looks like a 2000 Spine Shank video or some new metal video or some shit. I was like, it's like,
looks like Bjork's All Is Made of Love or All You Need Is Love. I think All Is Made of Love. The Chris Cunningham video from probably around the same exact time.
I've never listened to a Bjork song in my whole fucking life.
I kind of just know that one that was like somewhat popular where she's just like, I have seen all I have seen. But that's probably like all of her songs. They probably all sound like that.
Yeah, I mean, if I just think of the way Bjork sounds, it's about that. So
I think we got a new guest for 5DR.
mm-hmm.
This is what I want. Yeah. I think it's Chris Cunningham because that was on, Chris Cunningham, 1999. She's kind of, it's like,
I know the video you're talking
a
about.
fucking robot that would be on an assembly line or the iRobot robot. And they have like her face on it. So it has her features and shit. And then like two of them come together and start boning. When we went to a modern art museum. Was it modern art or modern science in Copenhagen? And it was featured alongside this like weird ass car. And we were trying to understand what the fuck was going on. And then when we got to the end of the museum, they were like, oh, we're actually redoing everything. So we just moved a bunch of stuff from the real museum out here into the hallway. And I thought, well, why did I get charged full price then?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything's art.
What the hell?
Yeah. Copenhagen's pretty sweet. I had a good time there.
Yeah, Europe is objectively better than the United States.
Yeah, all I gotta say is any American that's like, oh, well, actually Boulder is like a really bikeable city. Fucking go to Copenhagen. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Go to Bentonville, Arkansas. God damn, they love their bikes down there.
Well, that's the only thing Walmart doesn't track.
Mm-hmm.
They just assume if you're like, you have the ability to power a bicycle and keep it upright, you're obviously not one of their employees.
They're Whole Foods guys.
Yeah, they're also like, well, you can't bike out of the town, so we can catch them at the line if they ever try to get out of here.
His bike right into Missouri. Like, nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, I think I've heard that people should move to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always. Hot new city, dude.
There's guys killing dozens of dogs out there.
Oh, sounds like my sort of town. Kron, what like dog would you not want to see killed because maybe it's the sexiest?
I don't know how to answer that, dude.
Guys, this is dead formats. This
Yeah,
is not
yeah,
5-day
yeah,
rentals. Like, respect.
Bones, I thought maybe if he was in, a different
I don't want
playground.
I don't want that exclusive to drop on this show.
I want to misfrizz his brain, dude, and just get in there. Get into that canine section.
I think it says more about you that you think about it so much than it does about me at this point.
Everybody's waiting for you, buddy.
I think you get a hot aunt psychologist to put him in a corner.
Oh, dude, I would
Ask him about-
I would crack so quick.
She is super hot, though, right?
Mhm.
God,
She's kind of attractive. I was like,
Very.
I could see this.
yeah.
They should have shown just like a picture of the wife at some point, and she's just
They
hideous.
did. She was hot too.
Yeah, but she should have been like hideous. And then you would see the hot one and be like, whoa, I get it.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we should probably just jump into the plot of this little bad guy. The movie begins with a young boy sitting on a staircase, fiddling with a gummy bear. He makes a call on his 2002 flip phone. All the while, we see flashes of a weird fetus robot levitating in some sort of purgatorial void. The woman on the other end of the phone keeps saying hello to no response, just as she's about to hang up. The cell phone boy, whose name is Mitsuru, says, "Mom, I'm home." The mother is confused because he clearly isn't home. She puts out a cigarette and a bowl of rice. Mitsuru says, "I'll come home if you say, 'Welcome home.'" Mitsuru's mom doesn't understand what he's talking about. He hangs up the phone and we see that the robot fetus footage is a commercial for a new toy called TOYD. Wow.
Was there like a moment here when this started for you guys where you're like, maybe this is going to be all right? Like, this might be pretty good.
Not really. But go ahead,
Wait.
Bones.
Am I the only one who thought this was kind of good, like overall?
I
guess so.
thought it was fine. Like I didn't hate this movie at all.
No, I didn't.
No. I mean, it drops the ball 5/6 of the way through, maybe, kind of middle of the third act. It can't make its mind up, but there's some legitimate craft and acting in this that I was sort of impressed by. And also, what is it about extinguishing a cigarette in anything but an ashtray that tells you everything you need to know about an individual? It's such a violent image. Like,
Really
Well, it's
is
just-
gross.
It's just gross too to do it into like food.
yeah,
I mean, even when you were in high school sitting outside and there's like a 1/4 full beer bottle that's got 10 cigarette
Ugh,
butts in it.
yeah.
Like it's disgusting.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you doing in high school?
I was hanging out with
Filling
you,
up.
drinking and smoking cigarettes, dude.
looking for dogs, hoping my hot aunt would call me.
Yeah.
Have you seen this puppet movie?
Would you say puppy movie?
Puppet. I said puppet.
Oh yeah, I like puppets. I don't like dogs at all.
God damn, Dan, I think now we know what the cover is.
You were really
I
sniffing
think this was a
one out.
mix-up.
Cut to a swarm of police at an apartment building. A detective arrives on the scene and finds Mitsuru hanging out in a stairwell, fondling a gummy bear. The detective says to Mitsuru, "Taste good? Can't tell if it's hard or soft." Mitsuru says, "Isn't that the best thing about it?" The detective tells Mitsuru to go home and continues to the crime scene, and we find out that Mitsuru's mother has been killed.
I mean, it's probably pretty hard at this point. You get it in the air like that and you're working it in your hand over and over.
Yeah, he's wearing like a furry hooded parka. Probably
Mhm.
pretty cold outside.
Yeah, that gummy bear's no good anymore.
The woman died apparently by electrocution, as evidenced by a circular electrical burn on her ankle.
It's a cigarette burn.
I mean, it's got to be, how strong does the zap have to be to, I mean, it's just one and it's like pff, dead.
Yeah, this thing's like the size of a bourbon bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the
And
volts, it's the amps.
I
Right.
mean, I guess
Asked and answered.
I don't
it's
know.
different
I
in
don't,
Japan. What's the conversion, Chris?
Well, they are one of the few countries that you don't have to get a special plug or a special TV or anything like that because they have 60 hertz electricity and use the NTSC standard. The more
Like
you know.
America?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
you're
When we were
telling
in
me-
Germany, yeah, we had to do the conversion.
Yeah.
I could just take my TV over there, plug it right in, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's been the only thing holding you back, so
It has been.
go for it.
Your mind would, you would have a fucking heart attack or a seizure when you flipped through their television. I don't think you could handle it. Like,
Whoa, this channel's all puppets, and the next one
it's
is
just
all
loud colors and screaming, and
Be
like,
so scared,
you know,
dude.
I can't wait to go. I want to go to Japan so bad.
I would love to go
Me
over
too.
there, man. Seems cool
I would
as
like
hell.
to see it, but I'd be like, do I got to bow to everybody? Like,
Oh, that's
Kinda,
so bad.
yeah.
Being respectful.
no, I didn't say I don't want to. I don't know if, like, I have to, you know? I don't want to be disrespectful.
My understanding is they want nothing to do with you at all.
Well,
They,
that's here in America.
Everybody looks down. Everybody minds their own business. Having spoke to people that have gone, there are people that love it because they're like, it's an introvert's dream.
Yeah.
And then there are people that hate it because they want to ingratiate themselves in the culture. And they're like, no, you're an outsider. And
Well,
our
that's the
culture
thing,
is
though.
also
It's like,
restrictive.
people think the same thing about New York City. Like, I don't know if I could hack it with all these people. Like, but then you go there and you realize, like, they don't give a fuck about you. Like, yeah, there's a shit ton of people. They're not talking to you because you're just some dude. Like, everyone's just minding their own business.
In the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very.
go ahead.
I'm very interested in what Japan has going on in their like vending machine technology. They got lots of
You want
weird
some
stuff.
of those
you can,
used panties?
no, but I've seen ones where it's like it'll say
Wait,
like
what?
It'll just say like mystery machine or whatever, and you put your thing in, and it will give you like a random photo of a businessman, and it's like that is wild, dude. I would drop $2 for that just for the sheer novelty of it.
I think that would do wonderful in America.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just put you put your money in, you'd have no clue what you're gonna get.
Just a random photo of a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
The detective, whose name is Shitara, inspects the boy's room. They find a TOYD in there, and Mitsuru is watching the detectives through the eyes of the TOYD via his flip phone. The detectives don't find anything of note in Mitsuru's room, and they leave.
Can I?
This is good tech for 2002, Kron.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't. I mean, it would be hard watching something on a fucking flip phone screen and like having any comprehension of what. Because I mean, the thing's so low to the ground. It's like
We all did it, though.
we did.
I still have videos that I took of like bands that I went to see from my Motorola Razr. Still have those video files. They're fucking terrible, but it was important.
Mm-hmm. And I still have the footage from the little robot I had that would crawl around on the ground.
You had a toy, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Brewster's Millions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the detectives in this mentions everything in this room seems fake. And the other one says it is fake. I don't necessarily know if that pays off, but it did make me appreciate like when you get good set deck for like a kid's room. Like Tough Turf, I always point to as like a great example of that feels like a real lived in, pieced together teenager's room.
Yeah.
I did see an airplane in there, and I got concerned for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about
Yeah.
to say, Tough Turf, good room. It's the opposite of just graffiti, a TV, and an NES.
Yeah.
What was the Trickster
Brain
movie?
scan.
Yeah, he's got a good room
That's
too.
the ultimate fucking.
Yeah,
bedroom.
but it doesn't read as real. That's
No.
like that 90s thing of like every kid is somehow like a loser at school. They're bullied, but simultaneously like they're the coolest kid ever. They're super fucking rich and they have
White
every piece
zombie
of
posters.
technology that anyone would ever want back then.
That's even, I just recently rewatched Trick or Treat, the like Sammy Kerr demon movie. And that kid's like hi-fi setup is like, how did you get any of this stuff?
He
He's got-
deserved to be bullied though. Ragman fucking sucks.
Yeah, but that's what, I mean, he's got like $6,000 of hi-fi equipment in his room.
I watched What's in the Bag with Chat Pile today, and one of the lead singer has that VHS. So they were
Hell yeah,
showing
dude.
clips, and I've never seen it. So it's funny you guys bring that up tonight.
Oh, it's good as hell, dude. Oh, don't
Boo.
put your thumb back up. Put your thumb up.
Boo. Shock 'em Dead is better. Black Roses is better.
I feel like I've talked about this. I physically can't dislike any of those movies. I can admit they're not good, but I really love them.
I can't go on a tangent about Trick or Treat. I can't.
Do whatever the fuck you want, man. It's your
Watching
show.
Trick or Treat, it is very obvious that the director of the movie does not like metal music. And in fact, reading interviews with him, he has a disdain for it. So the person that wanted to play, actively campaigned to be in that movie as Sammy Kerr was Blackie Lawless from Wasp, which would have been way fucking better than a guy who is a dancer in the film version of a chorus line. Fuck that movie. It sucks.
That is a good point.
It's worth a watch, dude.
Chris might have just ruined it for me.
It's no Black Roses, but or even I would say Shock 'em Dead is a better movie.
Shock 'em Dead, top tier.
But if you like A Demon Will Come Out of Your Stereo System movies like me, you'll find things to like about Trick or Treat.
Well, I feel like they're going for this guy's a loser, but we should love him anyway, but he just fucking sucks. There's nothing cool about him.
He's kind of just a little shit that is annoying for pretty much all the movie.
We see two young girls riding bikes on their way home from cram school. They're talking about a classmate whose parents got him a TOYD as a reward for his good grades. One of the girls says, "Sometimes I feel like killing my parents. It's their genes that make me bad at school."
What a great observation.
Fair enough, yeah.
Chris, what's cram school?
Hey, I looked this up.
Oh, okay. Bones.
It's basically just a tutoring program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is a very popular thing in East Asian countries. It is school as an extracurricular activity after school. So once you get out of public school, you have to go to cram school, which is just more school.
I didn't look it up, so I assumed it was like a period between maybe junior high and high school where it was like, we're getting you ready to, this is your 1 month preparatory program to enter,
Yeah. Well, it's been a while since I have taken classes in Japanese where they teach you about the culture, but I think it is a similar thing to Germany per se, where there's multiple things that we would call high school, and whatever you take as a test determines which level of high school you go to and basically the rest of your life. So I think it's like that there. I don't quite remember.
Well, we've got, a woman who ran a wrestling company dictating what our children are going to do. So take that, cram school.
Gotta be one of the worst at her job, right? She got the job and then she was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. So we're just getting rid of the whole thing.
Yeah. A1
Did you
is.
see what Harvard did to her?
Oh, where they graded her.
They choke slammed her
Letter.
off Hell in a Cell.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
That
what it
she
should
would
have done.
understand. Speak their language.
Yeah, they edited her.
They took a
her
red
letter
pen
they
to
sent.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That always looked like my paper in high school too, though. So I was kind of like, give her a break, but not
Big
really.
red F on it.
F plus, Kron. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I was too busy smoking cigarettes with you and showing you the ways of high school.
We follow one of the girls home and she plops down in front of the TV and the commercial for TOYD is playing again. This toy is all the rage. He understands your feelings, the commercial says.
Is this like Tickle Me Elmo?
I have no idea what the fuck this toy is.
No,
I'm
dude,
just
this
thinking
is
the
TOYD.
craze. I know it's Toyed, but I'm trying to figure out if
2002.
maybe the inspiration for this was Tickle Me Elmo was so huge, or
in the
Furby
press
or something.
In the press release, they say something along the lines of this movie is about TOYD, a robotic baby or whatever, which should be familiar to you because of the popularity of robotic dogs. So do you guys remember there was like a 3-month period where there was like some robotic dog that was like super popular? Do you remember that at all?
Those were never attractive to me, so I kind of forget that whole period of time.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've
Just a fake copy of the real thing, dude.
I hate to bring it up because it's been a sensitive subject ever since I had to take the batteries out of mine. You know, the tech at Radio Shack was like, I think it's time.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You're telling me that those dogs are battery powered at your house? Holy shit.
yeah, dude.
Wow.
I just changed out the DeWalt battery in their asshole every day.
Oops, forgot to recharge it.
That's how they get you, though, because those batteries are like $90 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the dog for $40, but wait till you got to start buying the batteries for it.
That's why I don't shave, brother.
Because you can't afford to have any downtime with your robotic dog, so you got to have more than one battery.
Well, then you think, well, that robotic dog's sitting at home. I feel bad. He's by himself. I got to get another robotic dog. And then they don't get along. You know, one's Bluetooth signal is overriding the other because one's 2.5 and the other's, 5, whatever. And I don't know that we're on Wi-Fi 7. I know that's not backwards compatible. What the hell?
The next morning, that same girl is joined at the breakfast table by Detective Shitara. She is his daughter, Kaori, and the two have breakfast together and talk about Kaori's dead mother. Kaori heads off to school with a friend that wants to kill her parents, and they are the first two to arrive at their classroom, and they find a TOYD trying to look up Kaori's skirt. A boy emerges from a closet and says he wasn't trying to look up anyone's skirt. 2 other boys arrive to class, and these kids are fucking going apeshit for this TOYD.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Shitara and his partner Hasumi are questioning one of Mitsuru's neighbors to try and find a motive for his mother's murder. The neighbor says that Mitsuru hated his mother. Everyone knew she was abusive, but the abuse stopped when she married Mitsuru's stepdad. Hasumi asks, if everyone knew Mitsuru was being abused, why didn't anybody say anything? The neighbor basically says it was none of their business.
Damn right. All right, this isn't America, though. He's an electrician, too,
He is.
which I thought they would like pin that on him.
Don't bring a pin. God damn it.
The ultimate revenge bot. He's not a bot.
So it's the world's best revenge movie.
He doesn't even need batteries, dude. That's how good Pin is.
He's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
This is a revenge machine.
Yeah, that's.
I agree with you.
Sounds like we watched the same movie, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
It's a matter of settled law at this point. It is a revenge movie.
Yeah, I'm totally convinced.
Mitsuru is hanging around after school, bouncing a ball against a wall. Detective Shitara, a full-grown adult man, sneaks up on him and says, "So you play with balls, too?" Shitara asks if Mitsuru ever wanted...
I've been trying that line at the park since I saw this, and I'm batting 0, dude. It's not working.
Well, you're saying it to kids on the swing.
Yeah,
You're
but
not even go to a kickball game or something.
well, a lot of these kids, they're so locked into their phones nowadays, dude. They're not even bouncing balls anymore.
Shitara asks if Mitsuru ever wanted to kill his mother, and Mitsuru basically goes full school shooter. He talks about killing people with baseball bats, and then he makes a gun with his hand and points his finger against Detective Shitara's forehead. "No, I never thought of killing my mother," he says before storming off.
What's up with these like tap shoes?
I have no fucking idea.
Because he wears his shoes down so quick.
Yeah, they just.
But why is the solution to that to convert them into tap shoes?
I think it's just to add a little bit of height, so you're not necessarily standing on the rubber that would be worn off.
Thought this was coming back as all right, this is going to be the big break in the case.
No, I think it's just important to show how fucked up the kid is later when he's got him. Also, there's a a cool little sort of blocking decision that I like. The detective, he comes up and the kid's on the other side of like this ramp with a rail, and the detective's kind of like head height with the rail, and the way he just sort of puts his chin on it to just sort of like diffuse the kid. It's just sort of like a goofy little choice that feels very human. Like, you always wonder, like, what the fuck do I do with my hands? But this guy's like, what do I do with my head? Like, why don't I just rest it on here? And he's kind of looking at him side eye and talking to him for a little bit. It's things like that I think the movie does pretty well. I watched the shit out of this.
I'm glad. That makes one of us.
I thought he was just trying to get some metal on his chin since he already had metal on his heels.
Yeah, he's trying to close the circuit.
Yeah. That's how you stop yourself from getting zapped.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, I guess that's right. You're trying to investigate an electro murder.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Shitara meets a woman under a bridge to discuss the case. The woman is Misaki. She's a forensic psychologist with the police department. She theorizes that the reason Mitsuru likes to play with balls and gummy bears so much is that children who were never held by their mothers like to hold soft things.
I don't ever want to hold that ball again. That's so bad, Chris.
Chris just left his own show.
God
Yeah.
damn.
He said, fuck
so
this.
sorry.
What a mistake this was.
He said he's
I'm
leaving
so
to
tired of
Danny,
these
California.
assholes.
That's right.
Oh, he would have a blast just doing like all the Japanese cities. That's a whole fucking 3 albums those guys could do. Getting on in the state of Kyoto, and we're dropping on the train going to Tokyo.
You know that if they wrote a song about Japan, it would just be about how they're just itching to get back to California.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. You can't take the California out of the Chili Peppers.
They should have
Red Hots for real fans.
They should have
Oh.
done what Elvis did and just never left California. They should have said, "We're here. You got to come see us."
Kind of feels like they should be like from New Mexico, because like New Mexico is pretty famous for chilies.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah,
and it's
true.
the place to be. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to get out. You got to move out there.
3 to 5 years. I think that's our, plan for my family is definitely New Mexico.
We could move there, open up a podcast studio.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty hot. We can open up like our version of the Comedy Mothership.
Yeah, start inviting all of your shitty comedian friends.
He called us comedians, so
Yeah.
we're working on it.
making
No, your
progress,
friends are
dude.
comedians.
It's the shitty part
ones.
that rubs me raw. Kron, would your comedy club be called Puppy Love?
Hot dogs.
That's not a bad comedy club name.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude. Chris, find us some real estate out there.
I could
There's
do a
plenty.
I could do a type 5 at Hot Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We need you to do 10, sir.
Yeah, I got this this whole bit about why you shouldn't date chicks that are into horses. I could probably, yeah. All right, you let me know, man.
Why shouldn't you date chicks that are into horses?
I'm not gonna give my material out here. Still trying to fine tune it, dude.
Got to come to hot dogs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm gonna try it out on Kill Tony.
Shitara tells her that Mitsuru is his prime suspect. Misaki isn't so sure. She says that during her interview with Mitsuru, he stopped lying once he realized that she was a psychologist, and that when she asked him if he killed his mother, he was evasive about it. How this proves that he's not the killer, I have no idea. Back at the precinct, there's about 40 detectives working on this case, and Police Chief Sarazawa asks Hasumi where Shitara is. Hasumi says he's at the school interviewing Mitsuru, and Sarazawa says that's Misaki's job, but he's not surprised that Shitara got involved, and implies that Shitara and Misaki are fucking. Hasumi says, no, it's nothing like that. Misaki is Shitara's sister-in-law, his dead wife's sister. And Sarazawa says, well, next time you see Shitara, ask him where he was when his wife died.
Brutal.
Worth it.
Mm-hmm.
These fucking Japanese detectives are so goddamn gossipy.
Who wants to hang out with a dying lady when you could be banging the hot aunt, you know?
Are you
It's-
Newt Gingrich?
I don't understand the reference.
He left his wife that was dying of cancer for his side piece.
Dang, that's low, dude.
Yeah, but it would have been worth it for the moon base he promised us.
Is that in JFK, that scene?
Probably. The movie is 4.5 hours long. I don't see how they would cut anything.
You don't know that. You don't fucking know that, dude.
I watched enough of it.
No, shut the...
I got the gist, Dan.
We meet another young girl, Yoko, who arrives home from school. She sees her stepdad asleep on the kitchen floor and tries to sneak in and out without waking him, but he wakes up and says, "I have a present for you. The present is lingerie." And he says, "You've grown up now, so I thought you'd like this. Why don't you try it on? Let daddy see how it looks."
This scene was disgusting, and I'm glad the movie never revisits this. You're arguing no, this was not terrible?
No, don't do that, lady. Like,
okay.
Get out of there.
She doesn't, because she runs out of the house and into the street, where she finds a mysterious bag outside her house with a note on it reading, "Miss Yoko, congratulations, here is your prize." In the bag, it's a TOYD that's holding another note. And later that evening, Yoko listens to her mom and stepdad have sex in the next room as TOYD sits ominously on her desk.
What a bummer that mystery bag wasn't full of just random photos of businessmen.
Yeah, dude.
Had to be a few. I got a question. What is the floor situation in Japan?
Clean?
I know that, but are they soft enough to sleep on, or is it just straight hard floor?
I think it's like a mat with a futon on top. I actually looked this up while I was watching the movie.
Mat.
All right. Okay. I was just making sure.
And yes, a lot of people do sleep on the floor as opposed to just a Western style bed. Maybe not in the kitchen, though.
What's the science? Like, is that better for your back in the long term?
I only shit in kitchens. I was thinking that too. I was like, maybe I would be better off sleeping on the floor.
I think it's one of those things like shoes, where technically it would be better for us to not wear shoes, except we've grown up in a society where we've worn shoes our whole lives. Maybe, I mean, if I were to try and adjust and just sleep on the floor, like, that would be so fucking painful. I might be able to do it one night, but
yeah,
they grow up that way and they're used to it. So I don't know.
Like their method of eating cross-legged, I do that most nights anyway. That's how I eat at my coffee table. I genuinely prefer that to sitting at the dining table. Fuck,
so
man. I think I'm more Japanese than American.
You think it'd be an easier transition for you to go to floor sleeping?
Yeah, man.
You're so tall, though, you'd be flipping over the table with your knees every time you try to get up.
Yeah, and unless it's like a, is it Shinto? Or what's the main derivative of Buddhism that's over there? I think they're mostly vegetarian, pescatarian.
Atheist.
I think it's Zen Buddhism maybe is the biggest one over there, but Shinto is like a completely separate religion.
Okay. Sorry. What were you going to say, Dan?
I forgot.
Sorry.
You're all right. Maybe you wouldn't, Kron, you don't think you'd benefit from sleeping on the floor?
I think I'm kind of in Chris's camp of like, even if there were benefits, how many sleepless nights would I have just trying to figure out how to make that work? I think the thing that I read, because I did look up like, do Japanese people sleep on the floor? And the little blurb I read said like, many believe it's better for your like circulation and stuff. Like it alleviates pressure on your body kind of thing. So, but I don't know.
Well, the other thing is that I exclusively sleep on my side. So I wonder if they just like don't even have sleeping preferences like that. Like if everyone just sleeps on their back out of necessity. I can't imagine trying to sleep on your side on a hard floor.
Are you a leg up guy? One leg up, one straight?
The fuck? Like
on a
what?
pillow?
You're on your side, but you got one leg up coming up on the pillow. Yes.
Like
I got a
your
pillow
chest.
on my side. Yeah.
I mean, I don't fall asleep like that, but I do wake up like that sometimes.
And they say that's like the worst one. And I'm like, but that's the comfortable one. And then I go like this when I wake up. And I'm like, yeah, damn. I was like, did you hear that? And she's like, do me. All right.
Ladies love 7 cracks or more.
And I'm like, oh God, my plantar fasciitis. And she's like, that's not a real thing. And I was like, I know.
Yes, it is. It's not.
Isn't that more like a wart or something?
No, it's a real thing. It's a when the plantar fasciitis of your foot gets too stressed because in later age your ankle flexibility goes down. It's a real thing.
That sounds made up, dude. I don't think that's real.
Dan, it sounds like you should get a pair of $70 toe socks to me.
No, it's too late for you guys. You can't transition. It's like sleeping on the floor. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
The next day, the world's most insane middle school band is having practice. They've got a floor tom, a snare, a tambourine, 2 accordions, 6 melodicas, and at least 3 recorders.
I could have used a few more scenes with this group just jamming.
I was like, what is their name?
I liked all of what they were doing.
Mitsuru is outside the band room in another stairwell, his natural habitat, and he's inching the TOYD in Yoko's apartment ever closer to her stepdad, who is again passed out on the kitchen floor. Cut to Yoko's stepdad, dead with an electrical burn. It's another locked door mystery. Shitara is under another bridge, his natural habitat, and he runs into Mitsuru. Want to eat something that's not hard or soft? The grown man asks the boy, and he pulls out a blister pack of individually wrapped gummy bears.
Seems wasteful packaging-wise, right?
And so that's part of one of the things I was thinking about, like, while watching this is, you know, you have your weebs, they're obsessed with Japan. They completely gloss over the negative aspects of Japanese culture, which are very prominently featured in this film, one of them being child abuse that everyone knows about, but no one says anything, and also extremely wasteful packaging conventions where we individually wrap gummy bears for no fucking reason.
Later on, he throws her like a yellow, and I'm like, really, dude? You threw her the yellow? You should have gave her the red.
No, you're keeping all the reds and the pinks for yourself, dude.
It's kind of crushing on her. It's like, throw her a
I'm
red,
a clear
dude.
man.
Maybe the yellow is IPA flavored.
I'm going to Japan, God damn it.
Mitsuru plays Game Boy Color while Shitara tells a boomer story about how candy just ain't as good as it used to be, and he asks Mitsuru if he knows anything about the murder of Yoko's father. Mitsuru says that he was in the same class as Yoko 2 years ago, and that everyone, students, teachers, and parents, all knew that Yoko was being sexually abused. Misaki meets Shitara back at the precinct and says she wants to talk to him, but not about work. The two go out for coffee. Misaki says she wants to see Kaori soon and invites herself over to make sushi and discuss the murders. She also broaches the subject of telling Kaori about her and Shitara's relationship, and we find out that Shitara and Misaki were fucking in a hotel room when Kaori's mother died.
Case of the hot ants, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's done it. Come on.
There wouldn't be humanity if we didn't.
Yes, everyone is someone's aunt.
No, I just mean we start with Adam and Eve. There had to be a little bit of, you know.
Yeah.
That work. Are they not related?
Adam and Eve?
She's from him, dude.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
she's-
saying.
Made out of his rib.
We should be a whole planet of Marjorie Taylor Greens.
We are.
We are. All the while, Kaori is at cram school, and who would show up but Mitsuru? Apparently, they've known each other this whole time, a fact of which Shitara is unaware. Mitsuru tells Kaori that her dad is cool, because when they were in kindergarten, Shitara came to school for sport day and promised to show Mitsuru his gun the next time he came. Kaori says that she's all alone at home and that her father is never around.
You know, it's not illegal to ask a cop if you can see their gun.
Where I'm from, they show it to you first before badge number.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is my gun. This is my badge number.
Well, and
And
gun
like,
is second to their Punisher tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's third. And underneath it or above it is thin blue line American flag. And then I say, is your body cam on? And they say, of course not.
They're not working right now. Now get up against the wall and spread them.
And they're like, sir, you don't have to pull your pants down.
The next morning, Shitara is stopped on his way into the precinct. Another officer tells him that the kid confessed. It's the robot that killed the parents. Cut to a task force of 40 police officers in a room getting the lowdown on TOYD. Shitara and Hasumi go to TOYD headquarters.
I love that there's a part in this where they like wheel in a big board and it's just got a picture of TOYD on it.
Are they not
Like-
fucking working any other cases?
Like, this is who we're after.
Apparently not, because
It's a peaceful country, man.
Mm-hmm.
Toy companies is like,
It's
yeah,
like-
it could happen. So what?
actually not like a peaceful country. It's just that the police force is so concerned with their solved crime rate that they just will straight up not classify things as murder so they don't have to solve it.
Whoa, a real cruising setup.
Whoa. That's a 360.
We'll never
But-
cover that movie.
By the time this comes out, that'll have been out for like,
3 months.
yeah.
You think that's even part, like that's ingratiated itself into this movie where it's like, well, we're so peaceful. Of course, like this whole police department, this would be their only case. Where in the US, it's the complete opposite. Like, you know, the entire
Yeah.
time during 7, you know, they're like fighting for room in this office. And there's how many other like cops scrambling and shit in the background trying to do whatever other case that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
there's-
mean, I guess that is like probably a good point, is that they like to think of themselves as a country with a very low murder rate. So any amount of murders would be like all hands on deck, I guess.
Yeah, there's a book, The People Who Eat Darkness. I think it's like a Korean serial killer. And that's like one of the main themes of like, this doesn't happen here. He's basically killing people and eating them.
Right. The complete opposite of like Swedish crime novels where it's like, God damn it, another one.
Like, has Daniel Craig always end up here?
So yeah, they're talking about TOYD. Shitara and Hasumi go to TOYD headquarters. They are in some sort of advanced clean room, and a man in a lab coat tells them that there's no problems with the current model of TOYD, but that the first 100, if altered, emit a powerful electric shock from the palm while in attack mode. And my main question is, why does this toy have an attack mode to begin with?
It's exactly my train of thought when I was watching this. Like, why are we? I feel like these, you know, science a lot of the times, they're just like, well, we can do it. I mean, we should, let's give them the most options.
All right. Well,
I thought,
hold on, Goldblum. You want your friend to protect itself.
I don't
But
know if I will.
Is
want
it your
my toy-
friend? I think what I'm really getting at is that I'm incredibly confused about what the purpose and target market for this toy is supposed to be.
Mhm. I've seen enough Child's Play and Puppet Master to know that attack mode is not what you want in your little guy.
This is a glorified spy camera, right?
Sort of, but
It seems
the
to
commercial
only-
says he understands how you feel, and it has an attack mode.
Yeah. You want to look up skirts and you want to blast motherfuckers.
Because it's to fight off the other toys. That's my
Imagine-
upskirt shot.
imagine how much the first pressing is, though. God damn, these things are going for like $15K.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get one of the first 100, dude, you're raking in some dough.
Yeah, it's like if you have a first print off-center holographic Charizard. Watch out.
Yeah. But maybe you run into a thing where like one of the calves has like a little divot in it and it just annoys the shit out of Kron, you know?
It's kind of an orange when the eyes go instead of a red.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like just enough to make it skip when it's trying to crawl. And you're like, I can't hear it, but it annoys the shit out of Kron.
Mm-hmm. That would bother me.
Kaori's chilling at home when the doorbell rings. It's Mitsuru. He brings a present for her and her dad, both of which are in bags that are mysteriously similar to the bag that Yoko received a TOYD in. Kaori and Mitsuru go up to the roof of her apartment building and do math problems using the cigarette burns on Mitsuru's forearm.
Fucking losers, dude.
Nah, man, it's like when Ethan Hunt tries to figure out what his swing needs to be in Mission Impossible 3.
It's like my first date with my wife. It's weird.
No, it's not.
I had the cigarette burn, so.
Did you also say you're a robot and run away?
All my math was totally wrong. It's like, you're an idiot.
I
Yeah.
was kind of hoping he was going to be a robot at the end of the movie. Like he was a big
TOYD
toy.
2.0.
Yeah, dude,
Shit.
that's what I was hoping for.
Is that what the metal heels were then for?
That crossed my mind.
Huh.
And then I was like, is he going to fight Megan
We need TOYD v. Megan.
v. Chucky? I don't know why I sound like Donald Trump when I said Chucky.
Nah, they already said Chucky's too big of an IP. So I think
Yeah.
Yeah,
TOYD
I mean,
has
you-
exactly as many movies as Megan. They're on equal footing.
whoever wins
Sure.
in the TOYD v Megan fight can go on to fight Chucky, maybe.
Chucky. Been around a long time. Beautiful little boy, Chucky.
He likes me.
Couldn't,
Mean.
bad little hombre.
Like his
Chucky.
direction.
Maybe I will, maybe I won't. The difference is I don't have to beg. I get the power.
Mitsuru shows up at the precinct and tells Shitara to arrest him, and he confesses to everything. He tells them about TOYD, and Serizawa asks Mitsuru where TOYD is now, and he says he threw it away. Out in the hallway, Serizawa is talking to Misaki about the case. Serizawa asks why Mitsuru would surrender himself, and Misaki tells him that the heart isn't so easy to read. Serizawa is fucking livid. He screams at Misaki and hurls a canned coffee down the hallway.
I think I want to do crimes in Japan. You just get to hang out and sleep, it looks like.
Isn't that a David Cronenberg movie, Crimes of Japan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but everybody's got like a zipper in their face or something.
Got ears on their face.
Mm-hmm.
Serizawa says, "You're our psychologist and all you do is fuck around with Shitara." Misaki says that's over and done with. Serizawa calls her a black widow and gives her his dented can of coffee. She goes up to the rooftop of the precinct and pours it out on the ground.
Is everybody over there hanging out on rooftops all day?
There's,
Kinda
there's basically
get the-
like rooftops, stairwells, and under bridges.
Mhm.
Those are like the three places to hang out. They say
I've
there's
not-
no third space left in America, but at least in Japan, you got those three things.
Yeah. I've
A
not
lot
seen
of
a lot
trains
of
going by.
Japanese movies, but it seems like there's just open access to the roof at all points of the day. So that's got to count for something, you know?
Kaori asks him if she can have a cell phone.
Was that hot in the can?
Yeah, it had to have been.
No, I think that's like an ice deal. It's like a cold brew coffee.
It was
like
steaming.
steaming. Yeah, that's what I was like. They're fucking warming that shit up in a can. I was like, man.
But that's I don't want to call it weird. That's like the specificity of the Japanese culture that is incredible. That like it would be served to you that way warm, right? But I bet that same machine you could get like a little cup full of ice that you could pour that into. And you would just throw it away and it would end up in the trash
cup
island.
would be wrapped in cellophane, though.
Yeah. Like those stupid fucking hotel cups.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Get a goddamn dishwasher, right? You're already washing the sheets, apparently.
Yeah,
Wash
but
my
then
coffee mug.
I feel like if I was there, though, I'd be like, how many people have drank out of this mug?
How many people? have
Probably
cummed on
less
this
people
mug?
than have used the forks at the old spaghetti factory.
Hey, don't question their cleanliness standards, dude.
I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying if you go to a restaurant, potentially tens of thousands of people have put that fork in their mouth.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Did you use the restroom at Old Spaghetti Factory, Kron? I don't think any of us did.
Nah, I didn't. I thought it was immaculate, though.
Yeah,
I was
none
afraid
of you
somebody
wanted
would steal
to
our seat. Sorry, good.
I was going to say, none of you wanted to tip the guy that's standing there with hot towels and fragrances. So
It did have pistachio ice cream at the end of the end of that journey.
Yeah, it's a full course. Like, what is it? 3 or 4 courses?
It's
just automatic.
3 courses and a bread plate.
abundanza, as the Italians in Missouri say.
I think when we do that, it's usually 4 episodes for 5-day rentals. So I think we're kind of like, oh, all right, it's finally over. So maybe there wasn't as much energy as we thought going into that.
Oh, when we went to Old Spaghetti Factory?
Yeah.
I think so. I think also just, and to that point, like on previous ones, we had more food at the house. I think so. We like had energy in between, but
You weren't able to talk Dan out of the 2 liters of ranch those first 2 times.
It's true.
Finally used, well, it's about a week ago. I used that ranch up.
I woke up in the middle of the night while we were there to go to the bathroom, and I walked, like, from the bathroom you can see into the kitchen, and I just, out of my peripheral, Dan had the ranch bottle up to his mouth.
I'd seen you and I turned around and you just went into the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want to acknowledge that.
when I was unloading the bag that I took and I realized that Dan took the peanut butter, I was a little pissed.
Yeah, because I just bought 2 Skippies from fucking Costco, and now I have that to get through, and I haven't even touched the Skippies yet.
I figured you were probably more of a Peter Pan man.
Ugh.
Nah.
Ugh. I'll take store brand over Skippy or fucking Peter Pan.
The Skippy had the double. That's why I got it at Costco.
You don't fucking skimp on fucking peanut butter, dude.
I get the nice one. I get the one you got to stir up, dude.
You don't have to stir it. It says it on the fucking
No,
label.
I get the one you got to stir.
Fucking Brewsters, dude.
Yeah, that's right. I don't give a shit. That's better peanut butter, dude.
Well, I have the 49 beers in my refrigerator that I have 2 left after a month.
We're here to talk TOYD,
You
not
should see
live from the jar.
You should see a hot psychologist, dude. That's sounds like a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I am hurt. They're all fucking IPA 7 and above.
You're welcome.
No.
Cowrie
Man,
asks her
I'm gonna
father
hit 200 over here, bro.
if she can have a cell phone, and he tells her to buy whatever she wants. As he's packing his overnight bag, he finds a goddamn TOYD on his dresser. He yells at Cowrie, demanding to know where she got it from, and she says she bought it with money she'd saved up because she's always so lonely. And Shitara tells her that the TOYD was used in the recent murders and apologizes for overreacting.
Maybe this guy's not doing his job like he should. A bad detective here?
Port of Call, Tokyo.
Yeah.
Where is the
That's
next one?
right.
They just announced it, right?
Oh, are they doing another bad
Yeah, they're
detective?
doing another bad lieutenant.
Oh,
I think, yeah, maybe
that's what I
it
meant.
is. Is it Asia?
I think
Is
it
it
might
Tokyo?
be.
It might be Tokyo.
Holy
I did
shit,
see-
it is.
oh, that sounds awesome,
I
dude.
see a picture of Takashi Miike. Wow. Sounds like a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Good detective. I don't know.
I mean, if you clearly have like the murder weapons setting on your shelf and you're like, whatever, I'm going to look the other way on that.
He has to, for reasons that will only become clear in the final scene of the film.
Maybe we can say good dad, bad detective.
Did he know it was the first version though?
No, because he refuses to check the serial number later on.
Yeah. All right.
It's like he knows in his heart, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That night, or later that day, or the next morning, it's hard to tell. Shitara and Hasumi see in the paper that there's a recall on TOYD. Mitsuru and Misaki are riding in a van. She asks him about his father, and he says his father died when he was 2, and he doesn't remember anything about him. And Misaki asks, what image comes to mind when he thinks of the word father? Is it someone who's kind, masculine, tough, good at soccer, quiet, like Detective Shitara, and Mitsuru calls her out. Sounds like she wants Shitara to be her daddy.
I've seen no evidence of this guy's soccer skills.
He does carry around a yellow ball, though.
Yeah, but they should have shown him, like, just fucking draining one from midfield, dude.
You're running around, going to toy factories, banging hot ants. When do you have time to fit some soccer into that?
Well, but that's the point. They make they draw attention to it that he's good at soccer, and I would agree. When does he even have time to get on the pitch?
Maybe he got banned for wearing metal cleats.
Yeah, he was doing like a Thai cob.
Yeah.
And soccer is an activity after hot ants, dude.
I disagree.
After,
yeah. You gotta,
soccer is so heavy cardio.
Dude, fucking Morning Delight will throw off my fucking gym schedule, bro.
Morning Delight? Wait, what is that? Is that a drink?
That's when you have sex in the morning, Dan.
You guys do that?
You don't?
Anytime I get the chance.
I got a schedule to keep, dude. No, I'll be late for work when Morning Delight happens. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Nobody's good.
I think you did give a fuck. That's why you're late.
Yeah. And it's like, I can make it in 5 minutes. No, I can't.
Cowrie is walking around with her
5 minutes if you know.
unnamed friend.
It only messes up your morning route by like 2 minutes, right? So
hey, yeah, it's 5 inches, 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, but you're standing over the toilet for 10 minutes trying to pee. You're like trying to.
It's already hard.
Get the fucking tracks to switch, you know? I'm so sorry, Chris.
Not a problem. Cowrie is walking around with her unnamed friend, showing off her new cell phone, which she wears.
I just wake her up at 3 a.m.
which she wears around her neck, attached to a rubber necklace. Cowrie races upstairs, unflips her phone, and punches in some numbers she has written down on a piece of paper. I'm home, she says to TOYD, and this creepy little bastard wakes up and says, welcome home.
So how hard is it to control a TOYD? Like, because they're using a flip phone and she has like a cheat sheet of shit. So it's like, do you have to type in, like 14 number sequence to have it crawl forward? I mean, it seems complicated.
Well, you got to think this is back in the T9 days. So
yeah,
you're tripling your effort first and foremost. And I imagine it's usually some sort of programming language, maybe a C++. Who knows?
But what are the controls? Like forward, back, stand, electrocute?
Well, according to the movie, the controls are solely pressing the right arrow. Or if you, in Mitsuru's case, if you have a scrolling wheel, that's all you got to do.
C++, Jesus Christ. Are you showing age on that?
I mean, what language did you learn how to code in, dude?
COBOL.
Is C++ still like a thing?
I learned in C++.
It's programming languages. They never go away. They get embedded in systems, and 30 years later, you have some old ass guy that's the only person that still understands it, who is solely responsible for your Fortune 500 company not crashing.
I worked at a place briefly that there was this one old program that looked like MS-DOS, and there was exclusively a guy employed that was just like, yeah, I know how this program works. That was his entire job, was just, he was the only person there that still knew how that ancient piece of technology functioned.
Oh, you had a TOYD guy?
Yeah.
He knew the right buttons to press on his Sony flip phone?
Yeah.
I do have a program that was like 2000, maybe 2002, that I used to go on to look at certain things.
Netscape?
I can access it through Java. Oracle.
You're just saying the name of programs now.
Which I know is Red Bull Racing, because they have Oracle in the back of their race cars.
I can swing a hammer. There's fewer of us left So
That's just what they tell you to think.
oh, okay.
Can you hit the nail though?
Every third swing.
That's pretty good,
Yeah.
dude.
Yay.
I can
Got
hit the
another
nail
6
as long
months.
as my father's not around. I think I've talked about this before. There's weird dynamic where if your father is watching you swing a hammer, it's going to take all goddamn day.
So
Yeah,
Cowrie from this movie probably pretty good at hitting nails and swinging hammers then.
Yeah.
He looks over at you and you're holding it upside down. She's like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
I mean, it is Jack Handy's golden hammer, man. Like I'll be out in a fence post just hammering away.
No rhyme or reason to it, just hitting a fence post with a hammer.
Maybe the funniest thing that's ever been on television and very difficult to find.
TOYD?
The golden hammer.
It's the very true thing about something that happened to me, I think. It was a Jack Handy short for SNL. If you're not familiar, look it up. I think on Archive you can find it.
For now,
Okay.
till they go bankrupt from all the lawsuits.
Yeah, I got to get the rest of those ECW episodes I've been downloading before they disappear, dude.
Start a new one, man. Use your C++ and Python and type it up.
Shitara
Kind of
and
a big
Misaki
rig.
are on a rooftop again, and Misaki says that she thinks Mitsuru gave his TOYD to Kaori and that Shitara is the next victim. Shitara says that Kaori just bought a cell phone and a TOYD, but it's all just a coincidence. Shitara takes Kaori on a picnic at the dreariest seaside park I've ever seen, and they throw a frisbee around, and Kaori tells her father that Aunt Misaki dropped by their house last night. And not only that, but Aunt Misaki told Kaori all about her and Shitara's relationship, and she says, "You know what Mom used to tell me before she died? Dad loves Aunt Misaki, and soon he'll leave us for her, so hate them." She throws the frisbee into the air and walks away, leaving her dumbass father alone in the park.
I'm sorry, she's not good at the frisbee. She's chucking them up at like an angle, then they come. It's like a boomerang kind of effect.
It's just breakfast.
No idea. It's very difficult to tell what time of day any of this movie takes place.
This is called a morning delight, Dan.
Yeah, dude.
No, because she says like go to work, and then we see him returning home with the frisbee in his hand, and like the evening.
Mhm.
I'm like, what the fuck?
It was a long walk home, dude. She took the car.
Mhm.
Hasumi is watching over Mitsuru in the hospital when he receives a phone call. He calls Shitara, who is at home with TOYD, to tell him that some police found the murderous TOYD 20 minutes away. A different kid tried unsuccessfully to kill his father. It's all over, he tells Shitara. You can take a breath and give Kaori a bath. I don't understand this at all.
As a guy who doesn't understand child development, I have been bad about like, oh, how old's your kid? 6 months? Oh, is it talking yet? Is it walking yet? So this guy just may not understand that, once your child's 14, you don't need to wash them in the kitchen sink anymore. His metric is off.
Mm-hmm.
He's not been around a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mitsuru tells Hasumi that he gave his TOYD to Kaori and that they need to call Shitara. Shitara's lying down, trying to get some shut-eye, and that fucking TOYD wakes up and starts crawling towards him. And it's Kaori that's controlling it. She puts it into attack mode, and she's about to electrocute her father, but she sees on her cell phone that her father is staring directly into TOYD's eyes. He
Kinda
knows
scary.
it's Kaori.
So I was like, oh, all right. You got me.
She goes out to confront her father. She knows Mitsuru killed 2 people with that TOYD. She wants to kill her father. She dares him to touch TOYD and call her bluff. And Shitara grabs TOYD's hand, and he isn't shocked. Kaori says that she was just testing to see if he's a real father or not. Have any of you guys passed the TOYD test yet?
I passed them all, dude. This one, I passed the lone wolf and cub test when I was a little kid.
Whoa.
I'm built for Japanese cinema, dude.
Just then, the doorbell rings. It's Misaki. She admits to Shitara that she came over last night, but says that it was to check and see if TOYD is dangerous. She says Shitara has nothing to worry about, that TOYD's been deprogrammed and can't hurt anyone anymore. Shitara says, how would you know that unless you touched it yourself? And that's right. Misaki was trying to commit suicide by TOYD last night.
Been there, dude. If I could just get one of these little puppets to take me out.
Just holding it up to your head like Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
Keep soldering the wrong wire, man.
Watching Three Stooges, pounding a beer.
Yep.
I think they kind of gloss over how fucked up it is that the aunt just showed up and was like, yeah, I've been fucking your dad while your mom was dying.
This is truly where the movie takes a massive dive. Because when Dan was asking earlier, like, bad dad, bad detective, I liked the struggle between the two things. I sort of did buy in that he was an okay detective, just having a tough time being a dad. I don't know. But I also don't know how much of that is just cultural nuances that I wasn't catching, you know? Like, if this truly is laid out in nuance that I wasn't picking up.
I mean, compared to the two other parents we see in this movie, he's an excellent father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has nothing to complain about. I bet Yoko's wishing her stepdad would ignore her.
I mean, yes, in a direct comparison, but the Breakfast Club reference of like, oh, I have an unsatisfying home life, and everybody else laughs like, yeah, we all have unsatisfying home lives. Like, compared to Yoko or compared to our main boy, you know?
Mm.
So in a way, her testing and challenging of him, I do sort of buy that she's sort of more frank with him, right? Like admitting to, I know what you were doing, on top of her already, the aunt confirming it. I don't know. But he tried to commit suicide with it wasn't abundantly clear to me either.
No, I didn't pick that up until the second time I watched it. The first time I watched it, I was just like, that was a confusing exchange of dialogue. I'll just ignore it for now. Back at the mental hospital, Mitsuru asks if he can borrow Hasumi's cell phone. He wants to call Shitara and apologize. Hasumi is a fucking idiot, so he gives the boy the cell phone, and while Hasumi is off to the side making the world's slowest cup of tea, Mitsuru uses the cell phone to activate the second TOYD in Shitara's apartment. He puts the TOYD into attack mode, but before he can guide TOYD to kill Shitara, Hasumi finally gets his act together and takes the phone away from him.
I like that they set this guy up as he's endearing, but he is kind of an idiot. At the first crime scene, there's a lot of stuff where he's just like blatantly touching shit in the crime scene, and the CSI guys are like slapping his hand, like, quit touching stuff.
He's just like touching the soffit on the ceiling. It's like, why? Yeah, I think that's a good point, because like he is dumb, but also it's like you kind of like him because he's just on this abused kid's side, for better or worse.
Yeah.
TOYD is under the kitchen table, eyes red and hand outstretched. Kaori is at the sink doing the dishes, completely bare-ankled, just begging to be electrocuted by a robot.
You gotta wear boots when you're doing that kind of stuff if TOYD's around, dude.
TOYD has inched its way right behind her. It starts flipping out, and she kneels down to take a closer look. TOYD stands up bipedally, and Kaori reaches directly for the dangerous part of the doll, but thankfully, before she can grab TOYD's hand, her cell phone necklace swings into the way and makes first contact. TOYD explodes, but Kaori is completely unharmed thanks to Chekhov's rubber cell phone necklace.
Hey, at least they paid it off in some way. I mean,
you got to.
When I got to the end of the movie, I was like, oh, that's at least something. Like they set up rubber cell phone necklace earlier.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, Misaki is at the mental hospital talking to Serizawa. Cell phone used to kill, cell phone saves a life. It's like gummy bears and erasers. I'm always saying this. I know exactly what he means by that. Shitara goes into Mitsuru's room, takes his gun out of the holster, and gives it to the boy. He tells him to hold it tight. Mitsuru,
I didn't forget my promise, he says.
Yeah, I think this is bad detective here. Mitsuru points the gun at Shitara, but can't bring himself to pull the trigger. It's heavy and hard, he says before giving the gun back to Shitara, and they exchange a longing glance.
That's the same thing Dan said to me when I saw him drinking that ranch bottle.
Back at home, Kaori and her father clean the toilet together, and back at the precinct, 2 police officers file TOYD away in the evidence locker. The only problem is there's supposed to be 2 of them. What happened to the other one? Credits. TOYD.
Shit.
But it's not quite over because we get to see the TOYD commercial in its entirety. But after that, credits. TOYD. Thoughts on TOYD, gentlemen?
I mean, this was honestly better than maybe I thought going in. Like, I did not hate watching this movie. They do some cool stuff to, set up like that all these kids are in a bad circumstance and you kind of understand why they want to take this avenue. The only thing, I mean, it did bum me out. Just, I do love little bad guy movies.
Yeah.
I wish the TOYD had done a little more. I don't think he needs to be quite on like the Megan level, but just the slow crawl is all that it's kind of capable of. Like, I do wish it had a little bit more get up and go to it, that it was kind of out there causing havoc, but I don't necessarily know if that was the focus of the movie either. This kind of seems more like a procedural kind of thing rather than a killer toy movie. It's just kind of like the killer toy is the background. The investigation is more what it's trying to focus on. So it's unfair to knock a movie for something it's not trying to be, but I know what I like. So I just wish it had leaned a little more into my interests. But overall, I thought it was fine. There's nothing that really bummed me out while I was watching it.
Same, man. I was genuinely intrigued and engaged. I thought the character work in the first part of the movie is pretty strong. I bought into them being sort of flawed characters. I think the way they sort of set the table with the abusive parents and that the way that culture can kind of run amok was really well done. It was sickening without being in your face. I don't know if I don't necessarily hate the throwing the gun to him. It does sort of kind of explain how blasé he was with his own daughter, that like deep down, he's a very trusting guy and he's willing to sort of call bluffs for people as opposed to just being like a straightforward kind of hard-nosed detective. He does seem to be kind of in tune with stuff. He fails a lot. So while they're complicated characters, they weren't frustrating characters for me. Yeah, I genuinely thought that this was going to be a much lower B-level sort of horror flick when you pitched it.
Yeah.
So it being the comparison that I was sort of thinking of was like the movie Resurrection, which we did on our show, which I had not seen before. You think this is going to be like, just a really bad Seven ripoff. And what it turns out to be is a Seven ripoff that is way better than you think it's going to be. And this was a way better Child's Play Megan sort of subgenre that was way more character focused than you thought it would be. So,
actually, now that you say that, I'm afraid to bring this up, but it is actually kind of a lot like Pinocchio's Revenge, where it's like, it's not really about a killer doll. It's kind of just about this fucked up child and all of the things they're going through.
I was on record by being astonished by how much I enjoyed Pinocchio's Revenge. And if a little bit of craft shines through on something, goddamn, I'm going to give you credit. And I think there's craft here. This punches above its weight for being a satellite movie.
What about you, Dan?
Hey, a little more serious. I'll agree with Bones than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst that we've seen. That's for sure. Japanese filmmaking, I mean, from what I've seen, and I haven't seen it all, but is always pretty decent whenever you get a film from that region of the world. So definitely check that out more. Yeah, I agree. I think the whole Megan thing is a good comparison to this Child's Play Megan almost. But yeah, just with more fucked up families. I thought the acting was pretty good. Got a lot of trains going by as they're talking, which I think is fun. I'm very curious to know like the budget that they spent on this, but I mean, for what it is, it's not bad. I mean, it kept my attention. I would have liked.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Kron. I think I would have liked a little bit more of a more mobile little bad guy, but they don't. But they also don't try to make it like, oh, he's connected to an app, or it's 2002, so you still have the phone, but they don't try to make it too complicated. It's still just like it's got to touch you to electrocute you, and so. Like I said, it kept my attention. I wasn't mad whenever we were done with this, so not bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I think I will disagree with Kron when he says it's unfair to criticize it for not having a lot of TOYD. Because I'm sure I bring this up every week. If you have a movie called Slugs, there better be a fuck ton of slugs in that movie. And this is called TOYD. And the cover of it is a picture of TOYD. So very little actual TOYD in it. So I will knock it for that. I think the other problem I had with it was the aggressively early 2000s Japanese aesthetic. We didn't really touch on it, but everything in this movie is fucking green and disgusting looking. And that combined with the editing does make it hard at times, even after watching it twice, to tell what time of day things are happening in relation to the previous scene and the scene following it, because sometimes it seems like it jumps from afternoon to night to back to afternoon and then to morning and then night again. So that's a little bit jarring. I mean, that being said, it's not terrible. Is it really something I would watch again? Am I ever going to throw TOYD on? I'm going to say no. Maybe I'll watch the TOYD commercial again because that's the best part. I agree with all three of you. I mean, all when you said the acting was pretty decent. I mean, this is a made for satellite television film. And on top of that, two of the leads are in their early teens, probably. And no one was like obviously like egregiously bad at acting. But yeah, I think I can understand how this one fell through the cracks and why I'm the first person to be like, this needs to be seen and on IMDb, because it is, I think if I were to use one word, it would just sort of be unremarkable. Like, it's just straight down the center, like decent, not terrible, not amazing, not really any scenes that are memorable to me, other than perhaps the weirdness of the quirk of like, I play with gummy bears all the time. Yeah, TOYD, 2002. What more can you say about it?
Do you hope that there's a TOYD 2'd?
Yeah.
After hearing that, I hope there is.
Yeah, I do now.
The title is simply too good to leave out there.
And my joke was way worse. I was going to say Kron likes gummy bears, but
Well, that's not true.
Dogs.
That's a 5DR joke. That's not a guest spot joke.
edit that out.
Yeah, I mean, if I found that there was a second one, I'd watch it, but I think my heart would also sink a little bit because I would know that I have to find it.
I don't want to make a massive generalization, but that is sort of the way that these semi-horror franchises start, right? Like they don't flood you with the thing that you want. And in this case, the TOYD. If there was a sequel or it sparked a franchise, you would get to the point where
killer TOYD.
It's all TOYD, you know, and they're coming up with excuses to, all right, it's TOYD 2.0 and it has AI in it. And the original TOYD meshes with some, you know, and there's something to be said about these originals that it's not, you know.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but importantly, this movie is called TOYD. Child's Play is not called Chucky.
Fair enough.
So I think the title itself is setting different expectations. Like Rumpelstiltskin is called, like the title of the film is Rumpelstiltskin, and he's like a main character in it. So I think if you're naming your movie after the antagonist, you are writing a check that I expect you to cash at some point.
I am there with you. I'm just, for the sake of devil's advocate, are we just sort of spoiled by that, by how much franchise we have over in the States that's based on that? And we would even use that argument like, well, Friday the 13th is pretty good, but it's not even a Jason movie, you know, like that's why 2's the best. Like, do we have a Western franchise skewed to that?
Well, to be fair, 4 is the best. So,
well,
8,
6 is the best, but that's okay.
That's fine. That's a fair opinion.
Which one is the Reggie? Is that 6?
I think, is that 5?
That's 5.
I think you like 5 the best.
I think if I like 5 the best. Wow.
4, 5, 6 is the 2, 3, 4 of Star Trek. You know, it's like that's the little mini trilogy inside of it. For real though, Chris, 8?
Yeah, like
fucking love it.
What is that? Manhattan?
That's Manhattan.
Yes.
You love boat stuff, don't you?
Yeah,
He loves Canada.
I love cruising.
This guy loves Speed 2.
So in 8, they take a boat from
New Jersey,
Canada to Canada.
Yeah, but how do they get to
Canada?
How's the camp tie in? Do they start at the Crystal Lake?
It's Canadian.
There's a tributary that takes them.
That's fine.
It's a Canadian
people
lake
harp
to
on that
another
all the
Canadian
time.
lake.
It's like New Jersey to New York on a boat is not, I don't know why people act like that's mind blowing.
It's a 10-minute swim.
Well, it's a lake.
done it.
It should be surrounded on all 4 sides. You shouldn't be able to boat out of it.
The beautiful city of Toronto, New York.
It's good. Best final girl. Although, to your point, Bones, I mean, Japan goes fucking crazier with franchises than we do.
That's
Godzilla
fair.
has like 38 movies or some shit.
That's fair.
And you better bet each one of them has some Godzilla in it. But that's TOYD from 2002, the made-for-satellite television film. Before we get out of here, I did have a trivia game for you guys
Oh, fuck.
I knew it was coming.
that I like to call FacTOYD. It's a series of questions about toys that may or may not be tied to some sort of controversy or high-profile crime case. I'm going to read the questions and you guys just buzz in with your names. Is that pretty easy, right?
We'll see.
Question 1. What plush toy line was at the center of a 2001 murder-for-hire case involving a woman accused of killing her husband to gain control of their valuable collection?
Bones. I'm going to guess Beanie Baby.
That's correct. Beanie Babies. Which talking toy was banned by the NSA and intelligence offices over fears it could, quote, learn and repeat classified conversations?
Bones.
Bones.
Furby.
That's correct. 2-0-0 in favor of Bones. In the late 1990s, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission issued recalls after multiple children choked on magnets from which popular construction toy?
Dan.
Dan.
Connects?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Kron.
Kron.
Erector set?
No, incorrect.
Erection?
Something called magnetics with an X.
Fuck.
Bones still in the lead. A 1999 schoolyard robbery and assault case in Michigan involved students stealing rare cards from which franchise, prompting
Kron.
several school bans. Kron.
Pokemon?
That's correct. 2-1-0. Which 1980s toy was used by serial killer David Berkowitz in prison art therapy, with later controversy when toy brand themed artwork made it to eBay?
Bones.
Bones.
The little spirograph?
No, I'm sorry. It's not the Spirograph.
Berkowitz was Son of Sam, right?
Yes.
Son of Sam.
Dan.
Dan.
Pound puppies.
Sorry, that's incorrect.
Fuck.
What was the year on the toy again?
Shut the fuck
19
up, Kron.
So the question is 1980s toy. I do feel like it kind of predates that a little bit.
Kron.
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong.
Etch-a-Sketch.
Damn it.
I feel like that's more like 60s or something. I could be
Yeah.
wrong about that. What 2000s doll brand was involved in a massive lawsuit between toy companies MGA and Mattel with accusations of corporate
Dan.
espionage and intellectual theft? Dan.
Barbie.
Wrong.
Kron.
Kron.
Bratz.
That's correct. 2-2-0.
You still collecting those, Kron?
Yeah, dude, I got all of them.
Those hoochies.
What toy was at the center of a false product tampering scare in the 1990s when people claimed it contained satanic messages if played backward?
What?
Toy.
Bones.
Bones.
Tickle Me Elmo.
That is incorrect.
Fuck.
Kron.
Kron.
Speak and Spell.
That is also incorrect. Any guess,
Shit.
Dan?
80s?
So the false product tampering scare in the 1990s when people claimed it contained satanic messages if played backwards.
Cabbage Patch.
I'm sorry, it is Barbie, specifically the Teen Talk Barbie.
Damn.
Hell yeah, but Teen Talk Barbie. Hell Satan.
How many more we got left?
1,
20.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Fuck.
5.
Okay. So I gotta play. Shit. All right.
Yep. Which card game was part of a theft ring in which suspects stole hundreds of thousands of dollars in rare cards from stores across the U.S. in the 2010s?
Bones.
Dan.
I heard Bones first.
Fuck.
Magic?
That's correct.
Hey, he didn't say the full name.
Magic
know-
the Gathering.
Okay.
Okay.
3-2-0. What 1980s toy was the subject of multiple lawsuits when injuries occurred due to children getting caught in its fast-moving strings during play? That is Skip It. You guys never heard of Skip It?
Yeah,
That's
but
the one you connected to your
I was-
leg.
Yeah, I was picturing like
Strings.
a
Like a
series of
marionette?
strings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What 1990s toy caused a massive lawsuit after reports that children were receiving burns and lacerations from it
Kron.
Dan.
due to malfunctioning parts, especially during its early electronic phase? Kron.
Tickle Me Elmo.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Dan.
That was Dan's guess.
Oh, shit.
Now he's got to scramble.
Fucking, what the fuck is the bake? Something bake. Fuck.
5,
Bones.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Easy bake.
Yeah, you
Fuck,
got it.
Got it.
Good,
Got it.
good job, man.
3, 2, 1. What seemingly innocent toy became part of a 2017 child exploitation investigation when it was found that predators were using its Bluetooth features to communicate with kids? I don't think any of you will get this. That is My Friend Kayla, a smart doll that could connect to phones. Where have we heard about that before?
Intriguing, dude.
Oh, shit. Out June 26th. Watch TOYD in preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. So Dan's out of it, but Kron can still tie. A group of parents filed a class action lawsuit in the early 2000s claiming this toy caused obsessive behavior and sleep disruption, comparing it to gambling mechanics. What was this toy? Dan.
What the fuck was it called? The fucking little egg. I just had it.
Kron.
5 seconds, Dan.
Kamachi? No, not Tamachi? That's my guess.
Kron.
Tamagotchi.
I gotta give it to Kron. So, yeah, no tiebreaker because those are all the questions I've got.
What year was that? Sorry?
Early 2000s.
Okay.
Was when the lawsuit happened.
Okay, because that's a mid-90s thing in my brain. Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I feel like it was around 97 when they came to the U.S. I have one in the box on a shelf. I don't know why.
I remember when they got hot, we were in Guam at the time, and we sent people like in our family Tamagotchis, and they sent us, like they were sending Tickle Me Elmos to the island. So that was like a big thing within the base. Like people were switching out Tamagotchis for Tickle Me Elmos and shit. And
Was
green ketchup.
The
Remember when
island
green
of Guam
ketchup
just
came out?
lousy with Tamagotchis.
Yeah. Good job, Kron.
Good job, Bones. Good job, Dan.
Yeah, man.
Good
You
job,
got easy
everyone.
bake oven.
So, yeah,
thought-
that was... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought for sure, I had lawn darts primed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't run into that. That's a good one. So that was TOYD from 2002. Thank you guys for coming on and breathing life into this dead format with me. Tell the fine folks out there where they can find you and anything you've got in the works.
Well, you can find Dan bi-weekly on DK and Dan Like Bands, a deep dive into metal and hard rock music. I got to tell you, if you're like me and you're a child of the new metal, and you want to stay informed on what's going on in the new hard rock scene without having to go to, your Revolver magazines or your RollingStone.com, why not go over there and get a little bit of charm from DK and Dan Like Bands? Several episodes now available for your listening pleasure. Oh, and hey, speaking of Dan, why don't you hop over to 5DR, 5-Day Rentals Podcast, available wherever you get podcasts. We may or may not be on a little summer hiatus, but season 3, part 1, as strong as ever. Come for 5DR, stay for all of the appearances that Chris, host of Dead Formats in Mount Molehill, breathes life into.
Wow.
A true trooper.
Beautiful. Kron, at this point, I assume you have a new podcast. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's Just Talking Puppets with Kron by himself. That's right. I recite from memory my favorite puppet memories.
Wow.
Each episode is 2 to 4 hours. Get it wherever podcasts are available.
Amazing. So, on behalf of Bones, Dan, and Kron, I'm Chris. This has been Dead Formats. If you have any questions about the show, or if you have a dead format topic that you'd like to hear me cover, or if you have any suggestions for potential guests, please reach out. You can email me at deadformatspod@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at deadformatspod. Thanks for listening. Fuck.